Book 1, The 12 Steps. The purpose of the portion of the book is to invite members to engage in a journey of recovery, to serve as a resource in gaining a personal understanding of the spiritual principles and the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous. This portion of the book explores spiritual principles in each step, how we experience them in our lives. We believe that the steps are presented in a manner that encompasses the diversity of the fellowship and is reflecting on the spiritual awakening described in the 12th step. Step 1. We admitted that we were powerless over our addiction and that our lives have become unmanageable. As addicts, we have each experienced the pain, loneliness, and despair of addiction. Before coming to NA, most of us tried everything we could think of to control our use of drugs. We tried switching drugs, thinking that we only had a problem with one particular drug. We tried limiting our drug to certain times and places. We may even have vowed to stop using altogether at a certain point. We may have told ourselves we would never do the drugs again. We watched other addicts do, then found ourselves doing these very things. Nothing we tried had any lasting effect. Our active addiction continued to progress, overpowering even our best interactions. Alone, terrified of what our future held for us, we found the Fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous. As members of Narcotics Anonymous, we experience the experience in the addiction is a progressive disease. The progression may be rapid or slow, but it always downhill. As long as we are using drugs, our lives will steadily get worse. It would be impossible to precisely describe addiction in a way that is agreeable to everyone. However, the disease seems to affect us in the following general ways. Mentally, we became obsessed with the thoughts of using, physical, and developed compulsion to continue using regardless. Page 2. Difficult aspects of addiction for us became this part of our disease. Affects us so profoundly and so personally, we may be overwhelmed when we think about applying a program of recovery to it. However, we need to keep in mind that our recovery doesn't happen overnight for anyone. As we start to take a look at the effects of our disease, we are sure to see that our lives have become unmanageable. We see it in all the things that are wrong with our lives. Again, our experiences are individual and vary widely from active addict to addict. Some of our realize our lives have become unmanageable because we felt out of control emotionally and began to feel guilty about every drug we use. Some of us have lost everything, our homes and our families, our jobs and our function as a human being at all. Some of us have spent time in jails, institutions, and some of us have come very close to death. Whatever our individual circumstances, our lives have been governed by obsessive, compulsive, self-seeking behavior, and the end result has been unmanageability. Perhaps we have arrived in NA without recognizing the problems we had for what they were because of our self-centeredness. We were often the last ones to realize that we were addicts. Many of us were persuaded by friends or family to begin attending an A meeting. Other members received even stronger encouragement from the courts. No matter